All right, so we have been waiting to speak with Vinu Karki of ICICI Securities on the work he's done on small cap, mid cap valuations versus large caps. One of the most quoted notes of recent time by fund managers on and off air. So I thought of chatting with him up directly. Vinod, the good work you've done, I must say. So you are actually breaking, this view in the market that the entire universe of small cap, mid cap is boiling right now and have to be very cautious approaching it. Talk to us about how you have really done this detailed work and what's the hypothesis which is coming out of it.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ajay. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah. So the basic framework, we have been using this actually quite for some time. And in fact, this very framework gave us a signal somewhere at the end of 2019 that the mid and small caps, which if you remember, had undergone a bear market from the end of 2017 for almost 2 years, had started to bottom out based on the same framework and principle which we are now using to say that it's not, the rally has not completely ended. And that's basically just the spread analysis. So the basic hypothesis or the principle that we work on when you look at bottom markets is that when you invest in small caps, mid caps, micro caps, obviously you are taking more risk as compared to the large caps, which are much established companies, both on balance sheets and proven business models. So as you go down the market cap curve, an investor should be asking for higher returns, which we measure in terms of the earnings yield. Now the point is, how do you measure the earnings yield? That can distort the picture. So what we realized is that the small caps, especially the small and micro caps, have bulk of the loss pool sitting, if you look at the overall PAT to GDP right now. So we have been quoting this PAT to GDP number, which last year rose from almost below 2%, 3% right now. But if you break it up, that 3%, it's 2.6% of that is largely coming from the large cap. Another 0.4 is coming from mid caps, and small caps, which is, the entire broader market is contributing 0%. So which is basically saying that it is complete, the loss pools in the small micro caps are completely offsetting whatever profits are there. So this we realized, this error is being, is going into the index also. So if you look at the NSE small cap index, the profit base of the NSE small cap index is something like 19,000 crores in FY21. Out of it, almost 10,000 crores is the loss pool contribution basically. And if you compare it with the large cap, it's the other way around story actually. The large caps have considerably reduced the loss pool. The similar metric, if you look at the Nifty 50, it's just 2% contribution from the loss pool basically. So what we realized is, as when you look at a price to earning ratio of a particular company, and if that company is making losses, the PE doesn't make any sense. But when you do an aggregate analysis, people tend to add up these distortions in the aggregate number and then come to conclusions, which I think was the mistake of the headline PE number. When you look at it, large loss pools sitting in the mid small cap, distorting the picture for the aggregate valuation for these indices. So that is what, when you clean it up, you see only the companies which make profit, and you look at the price to earning ratio or the earnings yield as we call it. We realize that although from to the end of 2019, the spreads, the earnings yield spread of mid and small cap, although reduced, are still there. And what we have seen is that the turn in mid and small caps only come when these spreads become zero or actually negative. And that too on the back of strong earnings growth in the underlying numbers. So both we are not seeing right now. There are still some spreads, although reduced. And what we believe is that as the economy comes out of a technical recession in FY21, and in 23 especially, when a lot of these, because you see the most impacted in the contact intense service sector, the most of the representation is in the mid and small cap. And a lot of these sectors will kind of normalize. So that what we believe is that the growth also might be slightly better than the large caps going into, I mean, out of when we come out of this recession over 2023, we could find higher growth. But given that the spreads are not that high, we do not expect the significant outperformance that we have seen in the last year coming from the mid and small cap. But nevertheless, we don't see them capitulating under some kind of bubble or something like that. But having said that, we have also seen that there are some speculative trades going on in the market where companies with no earnings, forget yield, I mean, they don't have any cash flow, no business model and all, but speculative interest is leading to such stocks rising. Obviously, we would be very careful there.
Let me just interrupt you over there for a minute. I will have to stop you over there for a minute. I shall get back to you, but my colleague Ruchi Bhatt. All right, so Vinod is still with us. Vinod, I want to understand the universe of small mid caps which you have analyzed. What percentage of those, if ballpark you could share with us, really have very buoyant earnings outlook? Either there have been very sharp upgrades in terms of earnings, or a general observation on the kind of quality of earnings which have come in?
Yeah, so that is the important question. Basically, finally, it will be the earnings trajectory and the growth trajectory of the broader market, which will decide whether the outperformance of mid cap, small cap will continue or not. So broadly, what we have seen in the Q4 results also is that when we did our count of earnings beat, and obviously the companies in the mid cap, small cap which are covered, I think the broader, 300, 400 companies are covered broadly, I think, in the market. And we realized that the earnings beat is higher over there. Obviously, earnings beat doesn't mean that the growth is great. It only means that in the current scenario, things are not as bad as it is being made out to. But if you take out what we did in this analysis also was to take out the volatile earnings, stocks which are loss making and getting into profit and all that, volatile stocks, if you take out, what we realized is over 20 to 23, the Nifty mid cap, small cap index actually will have higher earnings growth than the Nifty 50 on a standardized base. Removing the volatile companies, the Nifty growth in 23 is something like 13-14%. But when we look at the consensus estimates, our estimates also, it seems that the companies where there, if you take out the volatility in the earnings, the growth will be in the 20s actually for mid cap, small cap. And we have seen in the past also that whenever when the economy comes out of a recession or a very slow demand environment, the broader economy when it picks up, the broader market also benefits in terms of earnings growth and demand growth. What one needs to be careful about is that this growth typically starts getting extrapolated as if they will continue for a longer period. What we have also realized is that the growth more or less mean revert. For a year or two there can be lead and lag. Small cap, mid cap earnings growth, because they are coming off a low base, can be higher. But to extend them indefinitely and say that they will outgrow the large cap earnings growth indefinitely, that is where the mistakes happen. So in 23, 24, when you actually see this high growth from this space, you start extrapolating that, and that is where the errors have been committed in the past. And mid cap, small caps getting higher valuation than large caps on a normalized basis, after taking out all the losses and all. That is where I think if the euphoria significantly continues for the next 1 or 2 years, we might see that kind of an environment which we saw in 2017 end, when the mid and small caps.
Let me come in over there. Yes, a fair point. Point taken. It cannot grow indefinitely, but clearly it's all about cycles. In this current cycle, you're making a case that the juice is more there's still some juice left in the mid cap, small cap. Point taken. Just wanted to understand from you, Vinod, before we wrap out, just 2 minutes left for the show to end. What kind of sectors or names, if any, from the mid cap, small cap, where do you see attractive valuations and good earnings trajectory from here on, from your deep analysis?
Clear, absolutely clear about the situation that the investment side of the economy broadly is what is pulling out the growth. Basically, if you look at the Q4 GDP, it was largely the gross fixed capital formation, manufacturing, construction, which is really picking up. And we have seen the high frequency indicators also, the exports are doing well. So we like the cyclical side of the economy where the valuations, I mean, if you see all the stocks that they put out also, that the valuations are also reasonable, and in the economy, we are seeing the investment side of the economy and the export side of the economy really picking up, because we are seeing better demand from the developed markets as they are seeing better, tackling of the COVID scenario, and their fiscal stimulus are much higher. So these two segments, and obviously the financials which are catering to the investment side of the economy, they come along. So broadly, these are the type of stocks and sectors which we have listed out, where the valuations are also pretty reasonable, and the growth outlook and the fundamentals are also improving. The cash flows are improving, the balance sheet deleveraging is happening, and all that is happening.
Right. All right, Vinod, we'll let you go on that one. Before, okay, let me also try and squeeze in just, one small question once again. And that is, what are your clients asking you most about the mid cap, small cap end of the basket? I'm curious to know what kind of queries are you facing on that front?
So, anyone who is wanting to have an alpha is obviously looking at trying to find where the demand is going to pick up. That's key, and the valuations are reasonable. This is what the hunt is for actually. No one is looking, no one is going to find what you should say good quality and growth which is absolutely cheap. It's not going to happen. You can take calls maybe in some of the unpopular sectors, where it's very cheap actually, but the consensus is still yet to build up that we'll have a big investment cycle and a credit cycle. To answer your question, the clients obviously they are looking for high quality growth companies at reasonable valuation, in a single sentence.
Sure. Okay, Vinod, thank you so much for your time. Always great chatting with you. With that, it's a wrap on the show. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.